The conversation about Drea, being almost 40 years old with Jalen Green, I'm noticing this conversation is taking a different turn because for years, any man that's in his 40s tried to date a 22-year-old, 23-year-old. In this society, people will call him sick and everything else, and rightfully so in a way. And the reason why I say rightfully so in a way is because I have daughters that's in their early 20s, and that would be weird to sit up here and try to engage someone that age when my children are that age. That doesn't make sense. Even Drea herself have children within that age group. But I want you to hear this clip of this woman here, at least two women talking, let me say. And I'm going to agree with one of the women for sure. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Once you hit 30, you better pipe down. After 35, you're worthless. This is what they try to tell us. So at 39, if you getting that 22-year-old, good for you, sis. Good for you. Let them know we're still popping. Let them know.
I don't think that that's okay. I understand that there can be age differences, but when it's that egregious, that's a problem for me. Because why is it that nobody in your generation is somebody worth dating? You have to go backwards. You're either hiding something, you're trying to be manipulative. There's so many different layers to that type of a relationship that is not okay to me.
Every single thing that they put as a down part of women, Drea said, watch this.
But why she couldn't do it with a 40-year-old millionaire? You're Drea
she did
Michelle.
It with a 22-year-old.
You are bad as fuck. You've been bad for 20 fucking years. Niggas know who you are. Shit is weird. And if I had a son and he brought home a 40-year-old bitch, me and her, we have to scrap, and whoever can keep my son at this point. Like, we gonna have to fight it out because that's fucking crazy to me.
Now, this sister, the one that was asking pertinent questions, why Drea couldn't get all those years. She mentioned that Drea kept up with herself and all of that. Why all those years, none of these men that she had access to in professional sports, actors, any kind of men that has something, no one wanted to marry her. Men know who's wife material and who's not. When men check paperwork, because, oh yes, men check your paperwork, ladies. When men start checking your paperwork out here and trying to figure out what's your history for men relates to your value. You can say whatever you want to say about it. It's not right, or whatever the case may be. You may say, well, what about all the women that men sleep with? Men aren't judged on that for their value. Men judged on their finances and the power they wield in society as their value, period. Women, for men, are judged on their past. How many men you have been with. What kind of men you have been attached to. So once men see that you, in his eyes, are not wife material because you was attached to this athlete, this actor, that actor, some men can say, okay, well, I see what kind of woman she is. She's a woman that you just sleep with and move on. He don't sit up here and invest his time, his money, get his family involved, have the nice wedding and all of that. So over the years, men have seen Drea in particular. And y'all have to understand, some people think about somebody's looks. Let me tell you something. A person's looks is what they are. You're easily going to get past that. Even men get past a woman's looks, and you're going to deal with her as a woman. You're going to see who she truly is. And most men do not want to marry a woman that has a reputation like that, where her paperwork has a file this high because of all the men that she's been with. You understand? This is why some men, when they even hear that you had babies with Future, like, oh, no, I'm cool. You understand what I'm saying? Or you had a baby with Pookie and Ray Ray. You say, oh, I'm straight on that. I'm cool. I know what she's about, because that's what she likes. See, that's how men view it. If you laid up with a man like that, that means you like things like that. I'm not saying you can't change. I'm not saying that you can't say, hey, I was young, I don't know what I was thinking. I like this kind of man now. Not to say you can't do that. But what I'm saying is, when men look at that, We talking about men of means. We're not talking about, any old regular dude out here. We talking about those kind of men that Drea should have got a ring from, right? Not a baby, but a ring. She should be one of those guys' wives, right? She could not attain that because she did not qualify, because the men looked at her as, now her paperwork is too bad. So that's why she couldn't attain a guy. So she had to go and get a 22, I think it's a young man, 22-year-old who don't understand the concept of paperwork, don't understand the concept of who she's attached to, don't even know who she's attached to, because he's young, he don't even care. He's oblivious. He got a sugar mama. Well, and I say a sugar mama, she's not taking care of him, but that's still that same range. And a lot of these young men want these older women. Sometimes when I look at it, I think they want a mama, personally. That's what I think, because, a lot of these young men today didn't have a daddy. They didn't. And because, like, what would a young man that young want with a woman that age, who got kids his same age? I mean, and when they got all these young girls around them, like, that doesn't even make sense. But like I said, eventually that's not going to work, because he's in the NBA. He moving around. All them young women going to be throwing themselves at him. That's not going to work. But she secured the bag, and that's just really what it is. But I'm seeing all this applause, from women saying statements like, why everybody complaining about it? They're both grown. Nobody's underage. If she still look good and can get a guy like that, shoot, I applaud her. And this and the third, but you don't applaud men. Why are you not applauding men? When you see a 46-year-old, 47-year-old man going somewhere, get him a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, whether United States, or if they going to the Philippines, or they going to Brazil, or anywhere else they going, Colombia, anywhere else they going, and they getting women that age, the first thing y'all call them is predator. How many times have y'all called them dude predator? Y'all said it repeatedly. Called them predators. So Drea's not a predator, or any woman who does that is not a predator. Bernice Burgos, that's another one. She 42 years old, got a young one. They praising that. But okay, so if an older man go get him a younger woman, y'all gonna praise it, right? They both grown, right? So it lets me know that you don't have a problem with some 40-year-old getting a 21, 22-year-old unless it's a female. But if a man do it, that's nasty. He's a predator or whatever. I want y'all to see that, because when you truly believe something is predatory, it don't matter who do it, because that you're standing on your morals and your principles, and you see it that way. You don't make it just because of a gender, unless you know that it was never about that at all. That was a means of control. Now let me get to the means of control. They know they can't compete with that 23, 24, 25-year-old. They know that. So I'm going to call you a predator. I'm going to say you're weird and you're sick. But if I have an opportunity to do it, then that's celebrated. And then in the area of competition, and then of course, a young man that's in the NBA, that's an anomaly. But let's just talk about normal statistics. 22-year-old man don't have the finances or influence than, let's say, a 42-year-old man would have, if that man was on the right trajectory of his life. Men come into their financial prime, they say, starting by 35 into 52-ish, they come into their financial prime. But definitely men should hit it for sure in their 40s if they did things right. And it should grow. Every year it should be growing, because now you're wiser. And I'm just telling you from experience. The 22-year-old me is not the guy I am today, right? Definitely in the area of wisdom, handling finance, etc. Or just even life. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, if I had this brain back then, I'll be way fuller than what I am today. But we'll see what that happens. And they think, oh, I guess that old movie Stella got our groove back type of thing. They've always celebrated that, attention from a young guy. It just to me, it just look weird. I'm sorry, it look weird. It's like, I don't like to see a guy like that personally, because I think a guy who fooling with a child, I won't say a child, but a young woman that's the age of his child is just weird. I think if you're going to get a younger woman, don't get a woman that's the age of your child. Don't do that. At least get her, get somebody older than your child. So it won't look like that. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. I just never understood it or agree with that. But a lot of mothers did respond and say, yeah, if I see one of them type of women come through my door after my son, it's going to be a problem. And shout out to those mothers, because they know what them women on. Them older women go mess your son up because them older women got some miles on them and they know some things, and you know what they know. And you got to defend your sons too, mothers. You definitely got to do it, because, them older women can mess your son head up.